Hi, you guys.
Hey everybody, you ever wonder why the handle of a kettlebell is so small? That's because they're meant to be swung with one arm. And we put out a video for two-hand swings and a great way for you to learn that skill. But as you get stronger and as you get more kind of capable of moving with good technique, we want you to be able to express your strength and have some progressions that you can do to challenge yourself. The progression to a two-hand swing is a single arm swing. So I'm going to have Madi demonstrate a two-hand swing. I'm going to move out of her line of fire here. Okay? She's going to do 5 two-hand swings. Now it's a great swing. Her back is staying nice and flat. Her hips are the engine. And the bell is just expressing the strength that she's creating with her lower body. Now again, handle's very narrow because this bell is meant to be swung with one arm. So I'm going to have Madi turn to a 45-degree angle. Okay? And she's going to do 5 swings with her right arm. And now notice, the bell and the swing itself are going to look exactly the same in terms of what her body is doing. She's just holding this weight with one hand. Now the reason that we can do that is because your arms are not moving the kettlebell. Your hips are. You're just keeping a loose grip with your hands so that that bell can move freely. So we're going to now show you the progressions that you can do so that you can get to a safe single arm swing so you can take your kettlebell training to the next level. So our first progression is kind of, if you remember the two-hand swings, is looping back to what's called a dead stop swing. So she's going to get comfortable manipulating this bell with one hand by putting it down on the ground after every single rep. This is going to allow her to make sure that she's in a safe position, that her shoulders aren't turned and rotated out of place, and then she can keep her spine in a nice neutral spot while she's driving through her hips. So let's see 2 dead stop swings on each arm body, and then she parks it back. Good. Fantastic. Good, and we'll switch to the other side. Now notice, as she switches arms, her shoulders do not rotate. So if you touch that bell with your other hand at the bottom, and you're capable of doing that without having to change your position, then you know that you did those swings correctly, and you didn't allow your shoulders to rotate or turn through your lower back. Okay? Dead stop swings, wonderful way for you to maintain a good safe position and to make sure every single rep is a quality rep because you put it down on the ground and then you can get yourself in the right spot.
And get your heart rate up.
And it gets your heart rate up, right? You take out the stretch reflex and it actually makes it way harder. So, safer and harder, which is kettlebell training 101, right? It should be very safe and still very challenging. Now, after we do enough dead stop swings and we are comfortable holding that kettlebell with a loose grip so that it can do its thing, we're going to switch to single arm swings, but we're going to take our offhand and we're going to place it on our shoulder. I call these Pledge of Allegiance swings. What it's going to do is give you some feedback on if your shoulders are rotating. That elbow should always point forward. So Madi's going to do 3 swings on one side and then park the bell and do 3 swings on the other side. But if you notice, as she swings, that hand is going to stay on her shoulder to help reinforce a good neutral spine position. Okay? Because this arm is locked in, it's going to be a little more challenging for you to turn your body as you swing. There you go. Good job. And now, Madi's very strong. You can see that this bell is getting about chest level. Your swings in the beginning do not have to get that high. A good swing is anywhere from belt level to chest level. So there's a pretty big window to express your strength. As you're learning, don't just try to sacrifice your body to get the weight to what you think is the appropriate height. Let your hips guide you, push down into the ground, and if you want that bell to get higher, root your feet harder. All right. After our swings with the arm in the Pledge of Allegiance or shoulder position, we're going to start to touch the bell. Now, opening up and taking that hand off the shoulder is going to start to incorporate another limb, but it's also going to increase the rotational forces we feel. So we have to maintain more tension through our midsection, not through our shoulders. So what Madi's going to do is she's going to do 3 swings on each arm, and at the top of each swing, she's just gently going to touch the handle of the bell. What that's going to do is ensure that her shoulders are square at the top. And if you notice, Madi is not whipping that off arm back. She's just moving that arm with her torso and keeping everything as straight as she can. Now, if you're touching that bell at the top, you know your shoulders are square at the top. Now, this also lets you start to transition to switching hands in air. What we're going to do next is I'm going to have Madi demonstrate after a few repetitions at home, after getting some practice, you're gonna feel comfortable enough at the top of your third swing, instead of putting the belt back down, you're just gonna switch hands. And I want to let Madi show that. The hand swings look fantastic. You notice that the only way she can switch hands at the top is if she maintains a loose enough grip and drives hard enough through her hips to create this little magical float. Okay? When that bell is right there at the top of its pendulum, she's going to switch hands, and then she's just going to go into her swing. When done correctly, it looks like this smooth, uninterrupted motion. If you miss your timing and you miss that float spot, don't try to switch hands lower. Do another swing and find that sweet spot before you switch hands. This is going to let you do a lot of swing volume and adjust your grip so that you can get a lot of work done without beating up your hands too much. Next swing variation, because this is basically another version of the touch, is Madi's going to swing but then bring her hand into this rack position. What it's going to allow her to do is stay nice and tight at the top through her torso, still not tight through the hands. And then on her transition swing, she'll come back out, touch, and then come back into that rack. And let's see 5 on each side. She's supposed to switch in air. It's all good. It's all good. So it's training,
He's the
guys.
one not swinging.
Yeah, exactly. It's easy for me to say my heart rate's not through the roof right now. It's training. It's not rocket science, right? You do one swing, switch. There you go. And this is it. When you are strong, there you go. When you're strong, you have a little more leeway. And you have some, oh, hey, I messed up a little bit. But if you notice, even on the reps where Madi, quote unquote, messes up, her form, her torso position, her spine position is never sacrificed. You have a little bit of leeway in terms of what you're doing and manipulating the bell, but you should never give up your spine position or your hip position. And that comes with strength. You have to maintain that good, strong position.
So that spine position would be anything that makes you round
or turn.
Or overextend.
Okay.
Or your
you
hip
should
up
always
to the side.
be stacked over your hips, over your feet. A couple things we want to discuss before we end the video are things that we see people do that if you find yourself doing that in your training, you're going to want to loop back to the starting progression, that dead stop swing, and stay there until you can correct them a little bit. So one of the things that we see quite a bit when we're doing single arm swings is the arm being disconnected. So what that means is instead of having her shoulders nice and square, that kettlebell is going to pull her out of alignment. In order to do that, she's going to have to tighten up her frame and tighten up her lat a little more. But we're going to be putting out a video for you guys to troubleshoot your single arm swing. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. The next thing we see is that rodeo arm. Okay, so as she's swinging, instead of having that free arm stay in line with her frame, she's throwing that thing back as hard as she can because she thinks that's going to help her get the swing, get the kettlebell back to an appropriate height. That arm doesn't do anything but put your spine in a dangerous position. What gets the bell higher and what makes that bell move faster are your hips and how hard you root your feet into the ground. Okay? That actually segues perfectly into our third thing, is people sacrificing their body position to get the bell to a specific height. We've mentioned it a couple times already in this video. Safe swing is belt height to chest level. Do not sacrifice your spine, like Madi talked about, to try to get the weight to a specific height. Drive your feet in harder, and as you get stronger, that bell will be able to move higher and higher and higher safely by using your hips. Thank you guys, and like I said, keep an eye out for that single arm swing troubleshooting, and then also make sure you check out our 2-hand swing tutorial that we put out.